Yeah, all good.
Luke, what have you made of HoopsFest so far?
Well, so far there hasn't been much to make of it, but I'm excited for it. The Under-18 Club Championships to kick it off. First time we've done it, or first time it's been done, so it's going to be great to see all the young talent come into Perth and play against each other and get exposed to more to NBL scouts and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm looking forward to watching all the games.
What about having this concept, though, as a round one to start the season? Do you like that idea? Do you think it can grow and stay here for future years?
I'd like to think that it grows, for sure. I mean, I think that's the idea of having all the games in one place and bringing in, we've got the NBA coming in, we've got the under-18s, WNBL coming in, all that action around the sport just has to, I'd like to think it's going to get people excited about it. You can kind of, beginning of the season, you can kind of, what do they call it? You can binge basketball for a week, and that's what I'll be doing.
So, as an owner of one team and as a West Australian, you've got multiple interests in what's best for the game and what's best for your own club. Do you like the idea of it potentially being here all the time, or do you think it needs to move around to give the home court advantage and the home fans something different?
Well, I think where it is going to hopefully be secondary to what it is. If it becomes a focal point of the basketball community and gets everyone excited about the upcoming season, then, to be honest, it'll be where it needs to be. And if that's in Perth, it's great for me. I'd prefer, obviously love it in Perth, but I've obviously got a finger in the pie with Sydney too. But yeah, so I'll stay out of where it is, but what it is, I'm down for. I've been looking forward to it.
So do you think, what's the message to Perth, or WA basketball fans about the opportunities in front of them there?
We'll just get out and support it and get as much basketball as you can ingest and have some fun with it. And if we see that's what happens, and it grows and grows legs, and it's good for the game and it's good for the fans.
What do you think makes Perth and basketball such a nice couple, I suppose?
Well, for me, I think the first thing with Perth and basketball is obviously the success of the Wildcats and how much the fans have engaged with the Wildcats, and the Red Army and the support behind that, and the local media. It's just become a real staple of Perth sports culture, and I grew up in that. I owned the Wildcats for a while. I've now done a pivot to Sydney, and we're trying to emulate some of that. So Perth has been a standard bearer and a benchmark for a lot of clubs for a long time.
A lot of people saying Sydney and Perth are the likely championship candidates this year. How do you see your own club, and how do you see the rivals this season?
I like us. We're still a brand new group. Anytime you have it, do you want to wait for this? Anytime you put 8 new guys together or players together with a new coaching staff, obviously I think it's going to take us a little while to figure out our identity. But I like the bits that we're built with. I like our foundations. I like who we are. We'll be a defensive unit this year, more so than we were last year. Perth have now got some continuity, which we're obviously striving for, and I think John does a great job. I'm a John Rillie fan. I like a lot of their pieces. So a Perth-Sydney final for me would be, that's my, that's top shelf pickings for me. I'll be at every game.
What's Gorge brought you?
Well, experience first of all, and I think a respect. He has an innate amount of respect. He has inbuilt respect in basketball, and he's brought that to our recruiting process, to how we approach our on-court stuff, and also history. He's got the history in Sydney, so people love him in Sydney.
He did such a great job with the Boomers. Now we have to find someone to replace him. Have you got thoughts on who should be the leading candidate?
Not yet, mate. I'll stay out of that. I will have thoughts. I think for the moment it's more about what type of candidate is going to be ideal rather than who. Whether it's a domestic or an incumbent or an international, I think that's all still to be decided, and so I'd be getting ahead of the game if I said anything more about that.
So do you have a thought on domestic, incumbent or international then? You're not naming names, do you have a thought on what type of person we need?
Yeah, again, look, I'm yet to engage in that, and I will. I suspect I'll be very involved in that. I hope I'll be very involved in that. But what we do need is someone that will take what's been built with the Boomers and propagate it and grow it, and not go backwards in terms of the excitement the players have for coming in and playing, and the connection to the community and connection to Australian basketball. I think that's sort of the Boomers as a flagship is really important, and we can't lose that connection. Given that some of our players are overseas now, a lot of them playing in the NBA, so that's not a new thing, but obviously a fairly recent thing to have that many NBA players to manage, and there's a lot comes with that as well.
We've seen a lot of young guys, especially the next stars from Australia, who are the next wave of Boomers as well. When you look at the Lockos and the Tuis and these sort of guys, How important today to the pathway to the Boomers and what the Boomers can make for them, do you feel, in the future?
So can you just rephrase that question?
How
Sorry.
important are they for the future of Australian basketball? When you look at, we've got the NBA guys, who are obviously top notch, but they're the next guys in the next rung below who, from a youth perspective, who people are excited about.
Super important to have guys like Alex Tui and Rocco coming through, and there's a bunch of others we could name, who just show that our domestic pathway is so strong, and the NBA is recognising that. College, I get 100 calls a week from college teams looking for Aussies. People want Aussies on their rosters because they represent a way of playing and some values that people like. And I think our Next Stars program is showing that as well.
We've got Cal sitting over there. Didn't cross paths before?
Yeah, so Cal, when I was a kid, no one was picking me to go to the NBA. I was a skinny, obviously being a redhead, I had the unfair advantage, and so that gave me a front running position. But I was a skinny, sort of a surfer hippie kid. But Cal was at the Wildcats, and I used to go down and watch Wildcats practice because my old man actually was on the squad for a minute before Cal got there, I think. But used to play one-on-one with him. Well, I didn't really play one-on-one. Played cone drills with him while he dribbled around me and scored. But my first memories of Cal was being a superstar that was in Perth and would take time out to play, hang out, teach a 14-year-old kid about how to play the game. And so they're fond memories, and he's been great for the game, and certainly was great for me in the early days.
So do you have, and he's obviously all around the country these days. Do you see him much? Have you bumped into him much?
Try going to a basketball event without bumping into Cal. You know, you can spot him. He's around. He's got kids in the game. He's got history in the game. So it's nice to see him here this week for what I think is going to be, as I said before, a binge of basketball. I've muffed up that line twice, haven't I? I'm going to start again. So it's good to see Cal in WA to binge some basketball with me and with everybody else. I mean, it's going to be all you can eat this week, and I'll be there with Cal.
You got it out.
Did you get everything you needed?
Yeah, that's great.
Happy with all that?
So are you going to actually